Where does Roger Moore rank in your all-time Bond rankings?
Oh, man, that's a really tough one. Roger Moore. I mean, how many Bonds have there been now?
6?
6, yeah. So probably 6.
He's last for you?
Maybe.
Worse than George Lazenby?
Okay, no, he's got to be 5. I don't even know who George Lazenby is.
He was in 1. He was only in 1 movie.
Okay, no.
It's actually one of the best movies. He's just not, there's not much to him.
Okay.
He's like the wooden Bond.
The wooden Bond.
No, they all have an adjective descriptor for all of them.
And he's described as the wooden Bond?
Don't quote me on that. I know Timothy Dalton is the angry Bond.
What's Roger Moore?
The campy Bond.
The campy Bond.
You couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
He's real campy.
Extremely campy. So what are we doing here?
We're talking about Moonraker.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bad Movies and Beer. I'm Cooper.
I'm Nolan.
And yeah, this is, in my opinion, the worst James Bond movie.
I don't have a history of watching a lot of Bond movies.
Oh, you haven't seen them all?
I don't know the back catalog really well. I grew up through the Pierce Brosnan Bond era.
Yeah, there are some bad ones in there too. Like if I did a top 5, or I guess bottom 5 worst Bond movies, I think realistically at least 2, maybe 3 of them would be Pierce Brosnan Bond movies.
Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, there is some awful ones throughout there. So I know kind of the Bond shtick, but I don't know all of the tropes and some of the stuff. So some of my ignorance might come across as we talk about this today.
That's all right, man. The more you watch, the more you start to notice things in common. But this is just, it's not even of all. It feels the least like a Bond movie in a lot of ways because of just some of the subject matter.
Is this because they tried to make it an homage to all of the popular space movies of the time?
It directly response to Star Wars. This is the thing. This is actually the interesting thing about the Bond movies, and there's been so many over the years, such a long period of time, is you can look at them and get a real idea of sort of where the world was, often politically, because whoever the bad guys are will tell you who like America and England were kind of in conflict with, but also culturally. So this one is like a couple years after Star Wars. It's a huge reaction to the Star Wars like space craze. There's one of Roger Moore's early ones, maybe his first one, is basically a blaxploitation movie because those are becoming popular. So it's got a lot of black characters. The parts are like set in New Orleans. Like it's so there's tonally there's that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real.
I could definitely tell. Like I wrote down in my notes when we get to the space section of this movie, this is like the most garbage Star Wars I have ever seen.
Yeah, there's a reason that we are discussing this here today. So we're watching Moonraker, and the beer we are drinking today is.
It's called Leisure Show, which is definitely appropriate. Double IPA from Left Field Brewery in Toronto.
You've had this before, right?
I have. I really like Left Field. A lot of their beers really appeal to me. They've done some great IPAs and other beers too. So a strong Toronto brewery at their craft brewery.
And as a non-IPA lover, they have a couple of sours that are really nice. And they also have they have a micro IPA I like a lot. So it has a little bit of like pale ale flavor, but it's only like 3.8 or 3.2% alcohol, so really very crushable.
Beautiful. So this one's not crushable at 8%, but we're going to enjoy it as we go through here today, or at least I'm going to enjoy it.
Well, let's get into it.
Correct.
So, after the traditional 007 gun intro, we open up on a plane that is transporting like a space shuttle.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Already out of the gate, we have a 747 with a space shuttle strapped to its back.
I don't know a lot about how space shuttles are transported, but I'm assuming this is not the way they are normally moved from place to place.
I didn't research it, but this felt really strange to me as well.
Inside the shuttle, 2 compartments open up, and we see a couple of stowaways who activate the shuttle and take off, which of course blows up the plane because of the exhaust. And we've got the title of the movie just like 2 minutes in.
I thought you would love this. Yeah, right on the side of that stolen space shuttle.
Moonraker.
Yeah, I was like, perfect. There's a point from Cooper right there.
I mean, yeah, that one's kind of it's sort of an easy way to shoehorn it in when it's just named. This is the name of the shuttle. But hey, I'll take it. Then we get the MI6 director who's asking where James Bond is. And the response is he's on his last leg. And then we cut to James Bond, Roger Moore, just sliding his hand up some woman's leg.
Yeah, he's immediately kissing a woman or attempting to kiss a woman on a plane. Perfect.
The sort of like sexual The sexual innuendo in the Roger Moore Bond movies is very strong. He's not afraid to dive right into it. And some of the cutaways in this movie from someone makes a comment cutting away to like the sexual sight joke, they're so prominent. Good stuff.
They lean into it really hard.
Oh,
and it's great,
definitely. Yeah. So she's a flight attendant, but not really. She pulls a gun on Bond, and the pilot tells him that they're going to let him crash in the plane. There's a bit of a fight. Bond chucks the pilot out of the plane, but then Jaws appears and pushes Bond out. And this is where I first, I'm very confused about what's going on, because Jaws is basically like 7 feet tall and has very shiny metal teeth. How is he not noticed inside this tiny plane?
How did he hide? Was he inside the cockpit, but hiding behind the door when it opened? There was no way you could fit Jaws behind there.
No, if this was an actual plane cockpit and not like a set on a movie studio where he could just walk in and out of, there's no f***ing way. But there he is, sneaks up on Bond somehow, pushes him out, and now Bond is in free fall, but he manages to do that thing where you straighten your body out so you drop faster. And
clearly, Bond is an amazing skydiver, right?
I think he's had some lessons. Yeah. Or at least he understands like physics. He catches up with the pilot, steals his parachute, and now the pilot is just toast. He's dead. And I think we get unless I'm mistaken, is this the Wilhelm scream?
Possibly.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Would that be considered a Star Wars reference?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So now Bond is in the clear, except Jaws. Jaws is now free falling after Bond as well. He's about to catch him. Bond pulls his parachute, and Jaws goes flying past him. Jaws pulls his parachute, and it's a dud, because Jaws, despite being menacing, is also a very large proponent of slapstick comedy.
Yeah, it is true. Throughout the movie, they add a lot of humor in through Jaws' actions, and it's ridiculous. Right before Bond pulls the parachute, you see the very first attempt of Jaws trying to bite somebody.
Yep.
Just ridiculous. I don't know what they've shoved in this like monstrous actor's mouth, but you see it appear and him try to take the biggest bite out of Bond's leg, and that comes up over and over again.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't make a character like Jaws and not have him bite stuff.
I guess, but does he ever successfully bite someone?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel fairly confident that you don't see it because it'd be extremely gory, but I'm pretty sure he does.
He does. He lays into.
You don't see him toweling off the blood afterwards either.
You don't see that happen.
Oh, he falls into a circus tent, and we are led to believe he might be dead. He's not. He's not dead. He's completely invulnerable.
He's immortal. I've decided after watching this movie that Jaws is somehow immortal.
So we get the theme song. It's Moonraker, sung by Shirley Bassey, who's an old pro at these Bond themes. She's done, I think, like 3 of them.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, she's just when I hear, I can only imagine her singing Bond themes. If I ever heard her sing a different song, I would just imagine that it was a theme song to a James Bond movie that I hadn't seen.
Yeah, it'd have to be. This is some of my Bond naivete coming up here. Were all of the Bond openings have like misty naked women floating around?
Oh yeah, the silhouettes?
Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Because I was like, is this like because it's in the 70s, there's all these naked women floating around and doing spins and stuff in the like weird close-ups and all kinds of smoke and stuff. I was like, I'm confused. But this is all Bond?
Well, yeah, I believe it started as a way to show that he's kind of like a ladies' man, right? And then just it became tradition. So now, even though it's a little out of place in 2015 or whatever the last Bond movie was.
Does it happen in the last Bond movie?
Don't quote me on it, but I'm 99% sure.
Okay,
I feel like at this point you can't do it without.
You can't make a Bond movie without having some kind of.
The credits wouldn't seem the same, right?
Okay.
Without the naked lady silhouettes, you got to have it. So Bond is being briefed after the credits. After, of course, he flirts with the old ass Moneypenny. She is getting older.
Yeah, well, doesn't she keep going in all of the movies? Like, how do they explain that?
She is the same Moneypenny from the very first Bond movie with Sean Connery. And she doesn't make it to the Pierce Brosnan ones.
Okay.
But she sticks it out with Roger Moore. So by the last Roger Moore movie, the two of them are way up there. It's like watching my grandparents flirt. It's kind of weird, man. I don't know. So he's being briefed from the shuttle disappearance. He heard it crashed and blew up. But when they show him the most secret footage, I love that. It says most secret. It's the top secret. The British. Good stuff. It shows no shuttle. So Bond is going to California where the shuttle is manufactured to investigate, and he'll be taking with him a dart shooting watch.
Oh, yeah. This is the first appearance of Q, I think his name is, right?
It definitely.
And they spend a lot of time showing this watch, so you know it's going to come up as a pretty significant tool later in the movie.
Absolutely. The darts are of the stun and fatal variety, so he can change it up depending on what he needs. He lands in California and gets helicoptered to the Drax estate by the lovely Corinne, who tells him about Mr. Drax, that what he doesn't own, he doesn't want.
Yeah, they sort of start floating in, and they come in on this like a ridiculous mansion that apparently he's brought in from France. Like he's brought everything over.
Yes, but they would not let him bring in the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, he owns it. He owns it, but yeah, he didn't bring it over. It's at about this time, like while this is all happening, a question came to my mind that I wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Is Elon Musk a Bond villain?
I think he's the closest thing to one in real life.
Because the entire time I see Drax and the entire time I'm seeing this happen, all I can think is Elon. Like I feel like either Elon Musk is a real Bond villain and like in real life, or he loves the Bond movies and has like sculpted his life to sort of be this.
He might just love this Bond movie because he has some of the same concerns about the state of the planet that Drax does.
Yeah.
And he's talking about going to space. He wants to go to Mars or whatever.
It made me think that Drax, like that Elon is sculpted after Drax, and I thought that was pretty interesting. I wonder, maybe he is the biggest fan of Moonraker.
The only fan of Moonraker? He also sees the hangars and production facilities, and then he meets Drax. And I don't know how you felt about Drax, but I've seen all the Bond movies. Drax he's not up there in terms of Bond villains. This guy is so goddamn wooden.
Yeah, he was really unimpressive. Like they start out with him playing a piano to some beautiful women, and then when he spins around on the piano, I was expecting sort of an impressive person,
not a like hangdog dude with a jowly face
and a garbage
no charisma.
Facial hair.
God
yeah,
damn, he is the
awful.
man that charisma forgot. He is just. You expect the Bond villains to have these kind of grandiose speeches, and he does at the end of the movie, but like it's usually entertaining and it draws you in, and he's just so very monotone.
I wrote
everything
more than one time in my notes, probably about 7 times, that he was the worst actor in this movie, and that's saying a lot.
I don't even know if you can say that he's the worst actor because he's not even acting. He's just reading lines.
He was really bad.
He's not good.
I was not convinced at him being a big... I would rather it have been Elon Musk. I wish they could have cast Elon Musk in this role.
I mean, he's more animated at least. That'd be something. Anyway, Drax believes that the conquest of space represents the future of the human race. He sends Bond on a tour of the facilities or of the mansion, and then he immediately reveals himself as being evil.
Look after Mr. Bond. See that some harm comes to him.
Which is actually a pretty enjoyable line.
Yeah, I wrote that down too. I thought that was pretty fun. I guess his associate's name is Char, right? And he became the sort of stereotypical evil Asian villain.
Yeah, oh, yes. Oh, especially
Very
later,
quickly.
for sure.
Yeah.
So on his tour, Bond meets Dr. Holly Goodhead, and she's a...
I had to stop and laugh right now. I wanted to rewind the DVD because I was like, there's no way they named her Goodhead.
She's an astrophysicist from NASA.
You would have to change your name. Now, so I laughed a lot at this movie. I don't know if I was supposed to. I think this one was intentional. Like I think they got to say, right? Like
always,
clearly.
come on.
Yeah.
There's a character named Pussy Galore in one of these movies.
Yeah, but I was just like, Holly Goodhead. How are you trying to build up this NASA like physicist astronaut?
Oh, yes. And she is, as you said, she is on loan from NASA. She shows him around, and then Bond gets into the G-Force simulator, but Drax's henchman cranks it up to 11, and Bond almost dies. Now, he manages to escape after shooting a dart from the watch that shorts out the controls, but I have several questions about this. First of all, why weren't there numbers on the dial?
Why was it just a random dial? Actually, I did a lot of thinking through this scene because it was hilarious seeing the sort of science that they had created to make this G-force thing.
Yep.
To show the G's, there was like a tube filled with liquid that was slowly moving up, kind of like a thermometer. And I was like, there's got to be a better way.
G-force?
I'm not sure. It seemed awful. Why was there none? I have no idea. Maybe it was supposed to be a first of a digital readout that wasn't working. I don't know.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Why are there controls in the car of the G-Force simulator? Because as we see, Bond can't move his arms. You could turn it on, but you'd never be able to turn it off. Why are those controls even in there?
Well, there was sort of the button that was supposed to allow him to shut it off right under his hand, which makes sense. But the rest of the stuff on there, maybe you should be able to read what's happening to you. I don't know, but you shouldn't be able to control it.
Okay, so here's now my final question.
Yes.
You're going to build this thing so astronauts can test out their resistance to G-force.
Yeah.
Why build it to go at a speed that will kill a man? What's the point of that besides being an elaborate way to kill James Bond or put James Bond's life at risk?
That's a good question. The only reason you would do it is if an evil villain and you want to see someone die that way, right?
Like, I know that's true. There's no reason
like
for
this
it.
would never exist at NASA, or it shouldn't. Like you would never make it go that fast.
No.
You're right. It is strange. The acting, like during that event, was really bad too. Him trying to show he was experiencing G-forces was extremely laughable.
Yeah, he got some good facial expressions in there.
Oh my God.
He manages to escape, but he's going to need a few minutes. Later on, we see him looking suave in a black shirt with an enormous collar, because that was just the time. And he pumps Corinne for some information.
Yeah, literally pumps her. Yeah, this is the first sex that he has in the movie.
He sleeps with everybody.
Not the only sex.
Oh, no, God, no.
He definitely goes in there and throws on the charm and seduces her rather easily.
It takes nothing.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Who is he? Nick Cage in Face Off? He just walks in the room
Yeah,
and the ladies
exactly.
are like,
It does feel like that. I
Man
feel
alive.
like maybe now that character from Face Off was kind of taken from Bond, I was like, oh yeah.
I think at this point you've connected every movie that we've watched to some other movie that we've watched.
It has to be.
They're all related.
They all connect somehow.
Apparently, some secret things are being built and or transported to a secret location. That's what Corinne tells him. After he nails her, he snoops around for more information, finds some plans and schematics in a safe. Now, you haven't seen a lot of Bond movies, but I will tell you that generally speaking, any woman who helps James Bond, if she works for the bad guy and helps Bond, she's dead. She's for sure.
I kind of started to get the drift of that in this very quickly, right? She's pretty fucked right away.
Yeah. The henchman spots them, and the next day on a hunting trip, Drax gets a signal that Bond is on his way, and that signal is the theme from 2001: A Space Odyssey. The starting part played on the horn.
Oh, yeah.
So there's one of your first references.
That, yeah.
Yep. Drax gives him a gun for this hunt, and off they go. Bond aims at one point, fires, and misses. Or does he? We see that a sniper falls out of the tree that Bond shot towards. So he kind of escapes, much to Drax's chagrin. Unfortunately, Corinne does not escape. Drax literally sicks the dogs on her.
Yeah.
He just sends some hounds after her.
I actually thought that this scene where the dogs were chasing her through the woods was quite well done. Like, it was very dramatic, like good music. I felt like the cinematography and the camera work was quite good. So I actually enjoyed that scene, as I was like tense, worried about obviously knowing what's going to happen to her. They cut away and do a really nice like bell toll transition too.
Yeah. Now here's why I did not enjoy that scene. You realize that as he releases the hounds and she runs away, she runs right past a golf cart that she could have used to drive away from the hounds, opting instead just to run for it and just dies a very gruesome death.
It's true. She didn't do something very smart.
She's right past it. Yeah. It's like a running car right there, and she's just gonna take my chances.
Watching Friday the 13th again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right up there. So, with this new information, Bond goes to Italy, which was the source of some of the Drax glass from the photos that he took. He investigates the glass manufacturer, also in Italy for some reason, Dr. Holly Goodhead.
Yeah, Bond kind of chases a woman for a little bit, and it took me a minute until like he gets to see the front of her before we realized it was Goodhead again.
You thought he was just stalking after some...
Yeah, well, he just looked like the suspicious lady, but I was like, what is happening?
All right.
And of course, Goodhead is there.
Yeah, that's her.
She's going to give a seminar.
She is. That's why she's there. It's to an international space organization. They decide to meet later on for a drink. At this point, Bond takes a gondola ride.
I was going to ask this. I was like, are those boats called gondolas in Venice? And I thought they were.
Yes, I believe, but I think the source of confusion is gondolas are also the name of like those cable cars that go up and down
later.
mountains.
I was so confused. I was like, double gondola. Yeah.
So anyway, Bond's in this boat ride, and there's a different boat with a guy hiding in a coffin. He pops out of a coffin and throws knives at Bond and misses horribly. He misses so wildly. Whoever hired this guy to kill Bond, they couldn't find a better knife thrower. Like, was this guy an amateur? He had no experience. And then the knives were in like a display. Why wouldn't he just have the knives with him in the coffin?
Why did he have such a dramatic boat to come and try to assassinate him? Like, if he was in a regular gondola, he could have just knifed him super easily.
That's a great point. Why does he even need to be in a coffin?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. He came out like Dracula out of the coffin, throws and misses, and doesn't Bond throw it back and immediately kill him?
Yes, that's what happens.
It took like no time. I was like, this was the worst.
Yeah, the whole thing's strange. If you're on a gondola ride and there's another gondola passing by with a dude in it, you just be like, oh, there's another guy in a gondola. He doesn't need to be in a coffin and pop out as a surprise. The better surprise would be an ordinary looking dude.
Yeah.
Not a coffin that's beside a knife display.
It was ridiculous.
Well, speaking of ridiculous.
Yeah, well, we started to the chase, yeah.
Oh, yes, because Bond activates a secret set of controls that turned the gondola into a speedboat.
Which was amazing. It was
okay, now I have to ask, is this like an MI6 gondola?
Has to be. There's no other choice.
Why is
Q
it there
guided
and why
this
is he
somehow.
on it?
Well, because I guess he, on the way to Venice, told Q he needed some kind of boat to help him.
Why is he on it right now?
Why is he currently on the gondola? 'Cause
What part of his mission requires him at this moment to be on the fancy gondola?
boat chases are popular by audiences, so it's required.
That's all it is. There's no logical reason why any of this is happening.
This brings us back to Face Off again for me, right?
Another boat chase.
The boat chase for no reason. It had to happen.
So they're racing along, and he's running out of space. So he activates another set of controls, and now the gondola turns into a car, and he drives away on land.
It was a hovercraft. I couldn't believe it. This part I laughed. And as soon as the hovercraft takes land, they have this really weird moment where a pigeon does a double take. Did you see that too?
Of course I did. I have it written down here, capital letters, pigeon double take. What the
I was like, what was that choice?
You would never, I say this with all sincerity. You think about, you've seen some of the Daniel Craig Bond movies, right?
Yeah.
There's no way. If they were like, Daniel, we're going to put a pigeon double take in here, Daniel Craig would be like, I quit. You. Sean Connery would not have allowed a pigeon double take.
He would punch the cinematographer if they even suggested it, right? Like,
it's the Roger Moore. It's the campiness, man.
I couldn't believe it.
Pigeon does a double take because, and you know what? To be fair, if I just saw a gondola turn into a speedboat and then turn into a car, I'd do a double take too.
I agree, but the pigeon was hilarious. I laughed my ass off at the pigeon. I also laughed my ass off at, like, there was this boat swan, like a guy who was putting a couple across.
Yep.
And he did one of those, like, of course, when your boat gets split and you keep, like, rowing while you're sinking into the water. And I laughed. I was like, okay, thank you.
Oh, man. So later on, Bond follows a scientist into a secret lab, and the way he's able to enter the secret lab is because the keypad has a goddamn tone. There's a like, what would you? That's so impractical. Each key makes a different sound. You can just hear anyone open it and just duplicate it. And second space reference, it's the theme from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
I was going to ask you. That's what I thought.
Definitely it is.
Yeah.
What a stupid combination lock. You could not manufacture a worse lock. Beep, boop, anybody with an earshot can just like know the code
and get in right away.
For sakes, this is a bullshit organization. Inside, he finds vials of a mysterious liquid, and when one of the vials breaks, the scientists die because they contain deadly gas. But strangely, it's not deadly to the lab rats, only to the humans.
I noticed that as well, and I thought that was strange. I was like, are they engineering something to kill off the human race? Is what I started to feel.
Yes, you are correct. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Bond leaves, and he is attacked by a samurai. So there's the racist stereotype you were getting at earlier,
right? Yeah, it's
the same Drax's henchman.
Yeah.
They fight in the glass museum and break literally everything.
I laughed so hard while this fight was happening because early in the film you see him go through the glass museum and they take a lot of time to have someone talk about the $1 million piece of glass.
Oh, they set it up so well.
Oh my god. And they literally smash everything in that thing. They're both throwing each other through it. And Bond even picks it up thinking about throwing it at Char, puts it back down to be like, I don't want to smash this $1 million thing, and Char just takes it apart.
Smashed anyway. I know, I love it.
I thought this was pretty funny, and I enjoyed this fight for sure.
How much did you enjoy it at the end when Bond throws him out of a tower and he goes through a piano, and then Roger Moore, in one of his most Roger Moore-y lines, basically looks at the camera and says,
Play it again,
Play it again, Sam.
Oh, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was ridiculous. Right through the clock tower window and through the piano. I thought it was pretty funny.
Oh, he's unbelievable. He also, in the course of this, he finds some boxes that are marked for Rio de Janeiro, which tells him where to go next.
Yep.
He thinks that Holly Goodhead set him up, so he goes to confront her, and it turns out she's not just an astrophysicist with a hilarious name. She works for the CIA.
Yep. He sort of goes into her room and starts detecting all of these cool tools that she has that the American government has given her.
Yeah, it could only be, it's similar spy technology, so he knows that she's more than she seems. They have sex, and then Bond slinks off in the night. The next day, he brings the MI6 brass to the secret lab, but it's gone.
Drax has been able to clean it all up in a matter of 8 hours.
And he's in there. Drax is in there just playing it cool. Can I help you? And Bond now looks ridiculous, but he shows his boss the gas, and his boss is like,
So there was a laboratory.
Yeah, as if Bond would bring him there for no reason.
Well, and as if you'd go there for no reason. He flies all the way there, and he's like, I never really thought there was a laboratory. Why is he
What I
surprised?
didn't understand is why did the Minister of Defense come to see this, and why is he friends with Drax?
I think in the same way that a lot of very wealthy people contribute to political things, charity stuff, I'm sure Drax is involved in some money.
Got some connections to.
He's got fingers in many
when
pies.
When would the
as they
Minister
say.
of Defense ever come to see a weird secret laboratory rather than just send the head of this secret agency? I was really confused.
Yeah, like
about that.
the minister wouldn't just trust the head of MI6.
Yeah, why would he
Yeah.
come himself to this thing and be embarrassed with Drax?
Maybe he just really loves Italy.
Yeah,
A chance to go to
a chance
Italy.
to go to Venice, right? I guess
Yep.
so. That
And
makes
now
sense.
Bond is off to Rio.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Drax is looking for a replacement for his henchman, so we get a nice little airport cutaway of Jaws going through a metal detector at the airport. He's not dead. He triggers the metal detector immediately, but they just wave him through after he smiles and shows his giant, scary metal teeth. Now, to be fair, this was pre 9/11, so
Yeah, so,
you know.
yeah, it would have happened like that.
sure,
Yeah,
right through.
I was surprised there were metal detectors, but
Yeah. Bond arrives in Rio and checks into the president's suite, where he meets his contact, who you'll never believe it, is a sexy lady.
Manuela.
And he immediately nails her, just right away.
Did they have sex right away?
Oh, right away. Yes, sir.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't write that down.
It happened. Later that night, they go check out an import-export company whose initials he saw on the boxes. Bond goes in to investigate, but Jaws, in a giant clown costume from some, like, parade.
So I actually really liked the atmosphere of this scene or this setup because I think it was right in the middle of Carnival.
Yes.
So they took like the Brazilian Carnival and then they were trying to like squeeze their way through, and that's where they have all the cool sort of floats and other things
Yep.
happening. And one of the characters in the float was this giant clown who ends up being Jaws.
Yep. Now, this is the thing about the Bond movies that one of the reasons why they're so successful is they do present a lot of exotic locales where if you're someone who has never been able to travel or has never had the chance to travel to these places, you kind of get a window into like some of the cultural stuff of the actual locations, which is cool, I admit. Jaws comes out of this clown costume and he goes to kill the girl, but he's temporarily thwarted by some partiers who kind of dance into the alley.
Yeah, they dance him all
Yep.
the way out of there. That
No,
was
but
weird.
then first the partiers
great.
leave. Then Bond kind of gets down there and they're fighting it out. He thwarts him, but then some more partiers show up, and then Jaws just dances away with the partiers.
Yeah, this was the second
So
time
strange.
in the movie that Jaws tries to bite someone and gets thwarted.
Yeah,
Like they
he
keep
just can't-
teasing that
can't
shit,
close
right?
the deal.
Yeah, they keep
Just can't
teasing
close the deal.
the big open mouth, and so Bond actually saves Manuela. We don't see his like most recent sex partner get killed.
No, because she doesn't work for the henchman. When you work for the henchman and then you sleep with James Bond, you're
over.
signing your own death warrant.
Okay.
I hope it was worth it. I mean, you know, we can speculate. So Bond, using a clue that he found in the import-export business, goes looking for Drax's airfield, where he finds Dr. Holly Goodhead again. She's
Yeah.
just everywhere.
They both decide to look from the same like telescope area at the airfield to see what's happening.
Clearly, she has the same information as him, and she's not sharing it, and he's finding it independently, and then she's already just one step ahead of him.
They have a pretty good conversation here where they're like joking about working together and how Bond left and how she was already on a plane like immediately after.
Yeah, she knows what's up. So they take a cable car ride down the mountain, also known as a gondola.
More gondolas.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was funny. I laughed at that.
But Jaws, who is back in action here, stops the cable car halfway down, then bites through the steel cable. He one bites it. One attempt.
I know.
Bites through the cable, but it kind of does nothing.
So he wasn't hesitating to bite this cable. He hesitated every time he was about to kill a human with his mouth. But the cable he one bites, and it doesn't fall. It
Yeah.
just sort of hangs there.
But it was already stopped. It was already hanging there.
Yeah, I don't understand why that sort of happened.
Maybe they just wanted Jaws to get a win. Like, let's let this guy bite something.
Well, and then what happens to Jaws? How does he?
So he gets in another cable car,
Yeah.
and rides up to meet them, and they end up fighting on top of this cable car. Bond locks Jaws in the car and then slides down the cable with Dr. Holly Goodhead on like a chain. And now there's a guy in the control room helping Jaws, and he sends down the car with Jaws in it after Bond and Goodhead, and it's going faster and faster and faster.
Almost
until-
catching them the entire time.
But then they just let go of the chain, and meanwhile, they can't stop the car, so Jaws smashes into a building, but of course he's fine.
Yeah,
Not
so-
only is he fine, what are you going to say?
So this part was ridiculous. I just want to mention one thing. The gondola fight was awful. I think they thought it was going to be good, but the special effects were horrible.
Nope.
When you see Jaws jump from one gondola to the other, it might be some of the worst stunt work I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, and well, in the close-up scenes where it's Roger Moore and Jaws fighting, they're clearly not on top of the cable car.
No,
there were stuntmen up there, but when you get the close-ups of Moore and Jaws, it is very apparent they are not on top of that cable car.
It's awful. But after the car blasts through the sort of cable car gondola station, taking out the guy who was controlling it.
Yep.
You see Jaws emerge and kind of get helped out by a weird German schoolgirl. I was like, she's got braids in her hair.
She has the pigtails.
Her breasts are out like she's wearing
it's a very low cut dress.
Like a strange German
giant
server's
glasses.
Outfit. Yeah, giant glasses. And then all of a sudden, the most romantic love theme music pops on. It was something out of like a weird cartoon.
It's that stereotypical romantic music.
And the two of them lock eyes.
They're clearly in love
and fall in love. And
madly
I was
in
like,
love.
What the just happened?
Jaws, you know what? Jaws should have just kept that costume on because he's a clown in this whole goddamn movie.
Oh my god! So, well, yeah, they fall. They fall in love, and at this point, I'm thinking to myself, well, Jaws has found love, so Drax needs another henchman because it's
picture,
over, right? Like he's just gonna go
Drax
have sex with this German schoolgirl. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man! So now that they're free and clear, Bond goes to put the moves on Holly Goodhead, but they get grabbed by some of Drax's goons disguised as paramedics.
Yeah, how does Drax have the Brazilian paramedics under his thumb?
I mean, he's stupid rich. If you're that rich,
you can have whatever you want. If you're
Elon
rich, it just doesn't matter.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there's a little fight in the ambulance as Bond breaks free, but he gets ejected from the ambulance, and so does one goon whose gurney gets lodged in a billboard. We get a nice little product placement for British Airways.
Although he looks like a cigarette out of the mouth of the British Airways person too, so I think they're trying to make it comedic. It was kind of funny.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. So now we have James Bond on horseback. He finds an MI6 base with everyone from England. And Q is there testing out some of those, like, I don't know what it's called. It's not called like a bolo. Or is it called a bolo?
Yeah, it is a bolo.
Okay. And it's got the two balls on the end of the
the
thing. And he's holding them. And Roger Moore just...
There you are, 007. Balls, Q.
Yeah, this was weird to me. Like, it almost cuts to like a Three Amigos moment with like three guys riding on horseback into a monastery. And then it's clear that this monastery is not really a monastery. Nope. They start peeking into doors and they see someone shooting a laser. They see some monks doing martial arts.
That's our first glimpse of the laser. It's going to be very prominent later on. And it's the reason why we're drinking Laser Show today.
Exactly. Lasers do become a prominent part of this movie.
Oh, yes, sir.
Ridiculously so.
So Q tells him that the gas that Bond found is an extremely poisonous plant compound that's deadly to humans but not to animals, which kind of plays into what you were saying earlier about getting rid of the human race, but not, messing with the planet. And then Q gives Bond another boat, and immediately we're in another boat chase.
Yeah, I wrote this down. I was like, boat chase again.
So many boat chases.
Yeah.
Bond is trying to evade capture on his way to Drax's lair. He runs out of room when he sees a waterfall, but ejects via a hang glider.
So this is awesome. I do have to come back a second. What were all of the people chasing him wearing? Did this pop up for you, or did you notice?
Are they in the short shorts, this looks like kind of like tennis wear from like the 1960s, or am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're right. But it was all these ridiculous yellow tennis suits, and
That's
I was
the Moonraker outfit.
Yeah, and I was like, what the hell is this garbage? I was laughing so hard, and then of course Jaws is in one of those boats too, chasing him down, and I was upset. I was like, Jaws found love. Why is he back chasing him?
He's a man of his word. He signed a contract, maybe. I don't know.
I guess so. But yeah, then he goes into the hang glider, which was hilarious.
Bond does, but Jaws is not able to eject from his boat. So he basically has what should have been his third death.
He's immortal. We already talked about this.
He should be dead 3 times already, at least.
He can fall off 100 feet waterfalls, no problem.
He can, and he does. Bond lands with his hang glider and sees the hot lady, so he follows her to Drax's lair, where there are even more hot ladies.
Why would you not just trust following a hot woman, right?
He's James Bond. He's got his mission, but then he's also got his mission, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
fair.
There's also a booby trap that launches Bond into the water, and we get the Python attack.
Yeah, this was awesome.
God damn it.
Bond versus Snake.
Bond versus a giant rubber snake that doesn't actually move unless the stuntman is like twisting it as he moves.
It was a poorly puppeted python for sure. There were a couple scenes where it looked like it was almost wrapping around him. But then we get like almost another cliche where we see the pen is mightier than the sword again.
Yep. He stabs the python, and that's it. Python's dead. Bond is free. Jaws is waiting to help him out of the water, though, because you just can't kill that guy. And now we get the master plan. Drax wants to start a new Earth with only the hottest people. We're going to make a sexy planet, guys.
Oh, my God. They start showing some footage that is clearly some of the worst fake space footage you've ever seen. I was just so distraught at the videos that they were showing Bond during this point.
Yeah, they're like, unlike other space movies that invested a little bit into making it seem realistic, this is not really.
No.
Not doing it.
It's going to get worse.
So Drax had to hijack his own shuttle, it turns out, because of a problem with one of the ones he was going to use. And then Jaws puts Mr. Bond in the launch zone. So he's going to die when the rocket takes off. It's going to burn him to death.
This is where he gets reunited with Goodhead again.
Yes, indeed.
So they're both apparently they're going to face the exhaust of the exploding rocket together, and that watch comes in handy as they blow out and crawl through a grate to their survival.
Yes, they find a couple of costumes they steal from the bright yellow costumes you're talking about. They jump on the next shuttle, and now we're going to space. 90 minutes into the movie, we're going to space.
My God, I was like, there's a lot of Moonrakers here. Of course, it had a prearranged flight sequence, so I was laughing really hard. I was
they made it nice and easy for everyone.
They made it super easy. They put on those hilarious yellow suits, and they are going up to see what's happening in space.
Luckily, they're both very attractive, so they're not really out of place in the shuttle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If James Bond or Dr. Holly Goodhead were like middling attractive, they'd be like, wait a second. Well, this is your invitation.
Well, this is where they figure out what's happening too, right? Because they look at the cargo of their spaceship and they see all those pretty people. And they're like, oh, he's making a new Noah's Ark of sexy people to take up to space, right?
Noah's sexy ark.
Yeah.
And
they start arriving at Drax Space City.
I actually wrote down sexy Noah's Ark. It's amazing that you just said that. I like that a lot. Yes. We see a giant space station, as you mentioned. It's hidden from sensors, and they dock. And as they are docking, well, first of all, we get some nice zero gravity effects. There's like a pen floating through the air that someone grabs and a clipboard. But then when they go to dock, this guy floats up to ready for docking, but then he sits in a chair.
Yeah.
How?
Just super easy.
How does he sit in a chair? There's no fucking gravity. They just showed us that.
This is at the point where I'm writing down all these questions. I was like, was other sci-fi stuff super popular around this time?
Yes.
Was the space stuff supposed to be cool and good? Because it's shit.
Yes.
Like it was
supposed
awful.
to be.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then we get into Drax. Like, I think this is supposed to be that actor's big moment in the movie, right?
He does give a giant monologue, kind of vamps a little bit, goes over his plan. And this is where I wrote this down. He's basically just space Hitler.
Yeah, he starts getting into like kind of weird eugenic stuff where he's like, we are going to wipe out the planet. The planet is going to be started again with you people who are here. We're looking for you to bone and make the human race pure again. And he wants all the animals to be fine. He's just tired of what people are doing. And I was like,
it's humans that are the problem.
Yeah.
So Bond and Dr. Goodhead find the radar jammer and shut it down so that Earth can now see them. They show up on sensors now.
Oh, this was, so they shut down those. And guess who's coming to the rescue?
The U.S.
Yeah.
America.
It's coming.
Yes, indeed. Here comes the cavalry. Space Marines launch as Jaws finds Bond and Goodhead. Bond tries to punch Jaws again, which immediately he hurts his hand. He's punched Jaws like 5 different times and it never works.
Why are you trying to punch this immortal giant with metal teeth?
So now at least he does change his strategy and he tries to knee him in the balls. And when he does, we get a giant metal clanging sound.
Yeah, apparently his is also...
He's got metal teeth and a metal dong. Like, what on earth? So Drax at this point realizes what's up and then explains his plan more, just in case we couldn't piece it together. But Bond kind of clues Jaws into the fact that him and his new German schoolgirl girlfriend wouldn't fit into this new master race because despite being conventionally attractive, she has glasses and therefore must die.
Yeah, she can't exist. Well, and also Jaws being freakishly large and
no one's saying why Jaws shouldn't be there, but he's very upset about this.
I do like this sort of turn. Like, I'm glad because I was rooting for love first for Jaws this whole time. So the fact that he decides at this point to make that turn made me happy. I was like, okay, good.
Yep. So he does. He turns on Drax, and they're a little bit overwhelmed at this point. They're going to try and laser the U.S. spacecraft, but Bond kills the gravity, and all of a sudden they can't shoot because even though we saw a guy sit in a chair earlier, now he's floating out of the chair and can't reach the controls.
Yeah, once apparently you stopped the rotation of the space station, gravity was all gone.
That's it. And now we get the space fight, which, if you've never seen it, this has some absolutely atrocious special effects.
This might be the worst 2 minutes in cinematography history. Like, I was abhorred at what I saw in this thing. I was so upset. I said, what the is this? This shit is horrible.
Yes, indeed.
This is where I was like, Star Wars must be out right now, and they're trying to capitalize on it. And they are making the most like horrendous mockery of a Star Wars battle I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of guys just like floating through space in spacesuits. A lot of them are just clearly dummies.
Oh, yes.
We have tons of repeat shots of the same things getting blown up, the same things being shot. The laser effects are just truly awful.
They
My
must
hat's
have
off to
spent
whoever
like
did this.
7 minutes using a like highlighter on top of the film to try to draw those
they're
lasers.
so
it was
bad.
Ridiculously bad.
It's the most clunky, awful action sequence, and it feels like it's lasting forever. You said 2 minutes. I felt like 17 minutes.
I feel like this added at least 5, like in terms of our scorekeeping, 5 bad points to this movie. That's
so
how
awful.
bad this one scene is, and I was.
This is
so
the laser
distraught.
show, my man. This is the laser show for which we are drinking this beer.
This beer is way better than that laser. I will tell you that.
You know
Way
what?
better.
I don't even like IPAs, and I will agree with you. This beer
way
is so
better.
much better than that sequence. Now the U.S. Marines get into the space station. We have more lasers being shot. Bond goes after Drax. He backs him into an airlock. Drax pulls out a laser, but Bond darts him with the watch and then launches him out into space.
Yeah, this scene was somewhat enjoyable. You knew the watch was coming because it had played such a prominent role throughout, and they'd spent so much time. What does he say when he sends him out to space? Did you write that down?
I did not. I
Okay.
feel like it was so unmemorable. Was something like him stepping out for some air or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
I don't know.
I laughed at what he said, and I feel like we might have to throw a quote in there, but we'll come back to that after.
So Bond and Goodhead jump into Drax's shuttle to laser the bombs that have already launched. He's launched these gas containers to, kill all of humanity, except for his hot people that are up in the space station.
Yeah.
The docking release is jammed, but Jaws, after just a lovely farewell scene, disconnects them so they can float away and blow up the bombs, even though it means that Jaws is going to be stuck on the space station.
Although we do see the space station start floating towards Earth. So I think there may be a way that Jaws survives, or at least it's floating around space. Him and his German teenager may be okay.
At this point, they wouldn't. Oh God, teenager! At this point, you can't bet money. You would be an idiot to bet money on Jaws actually being dead.
Well, that's true. And I think even Goodhead says, don't worry, they'll make it, right? Like she knows. She's a doctor. She
That's
knows.
right. Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, he's fine. So they blow up all these globes. The last one was a little bit tight, and they're gliding down to Earth. Now, there's video footage in the space shuttle, and the government trying to figure out what's going on because Bond isn't responding to the communications. They cut into the video footage, and they basically see Bond banging Dr. Goodhead. And this is where we get just an absolutely tremendous end line.
My God, what's Bond doing?
I think he's attempting re-entry, sir.
Oh God, yes.
So and they build it up too. The Queen's watching, the President of the United States.
Everyone's
They're all
watching.
in there, and
Everyone who could possibly be offended by this is watching.
We catch Bond banging Goodhead, and we know that it's not the first time.
Definitely
and the
not.
re-entry quote
Attempting
is amazing.
re-entry.
Yeah.
Hot damn. And then as a nice little bonus, as the credits are rolling, we get a disco remake of the theme song.
Yeah,
Oh my God, I really enjoyed that.
that was a good moment. I mean, I laughed a lot during this movie, a lot. And I don't think most of that was intentional. I think some of it was, but it was pretty funny. Yeah.
I think we're at the point now where it's just time to rate this.
right.
Again, God damn, as a Bond movie, it's kind of an embarrassment because even the very Bondy parts, the parts where there is, the exotic locations, the action sequences, they're just born out of ridiculous premises or gaps in logic.
Oh God, yes.
So for me, in terms of how bad this movie is, 1 to 10, it's a 7 because you know what? It's still they put some work into it. There are some good moments. There are some funny moments. They clearly weren't trying to make this a serious, gritty action movie. This is not like the Daniel Craig Bonds. This is meant to be Roger Moore's going to kind of wink at the camera. So they check all the boxes on the list of what James Bond movies should have. It's just a little too absurd for me to consider it a good one. So it's a 7 for me.
Okay, so that was your bad rating. I was pretty into this movie for the start of it. Some of it is ridiculous and over the top, but the space stuff for me was horrible. I think I said earlier that I added 5 to my bad rating because of the space stuff.
So a 15?
No, I give it a 9. I give it a 9 on bad rating.
Wow.
Because the space stuff was so bad. So bad. I couldn't stomach it. It made me, yeah.
And you know what? In a way, it kind of offends me that it was such an attempt to cash in on the popular.
Wars,
yeah, but that, like I said, that's kind of a James Bond move. So that's our ranking 1 to 10 for how bad it is. Unfortunately, no 10s, so we are not going to have a chance for a crit 20.
You would press that for every single moment of this if you could, I believe.
I love the echo. It's true.
Fun. So no crit 20s this week. That's
we're
okay.
going to rank it again 1 to 10 for how enjoyable is this movie.
I laughed a lot. I think some of that was intentional. Some of the humor now is potentially troubling. I think some of the racist and sexist things that happen are very questionable. But in terms of watching and staying engaged and laughing, I actually think that it's an 8.
I also have it as an 8 for enjoyable.
Really?
You know what?
Yeah.
Because it's still, there are things to laugh at. And at the end of the day, it's still a James Bond movie. And realistically, even the bad James Bond movies are pretty fun.
Yeah.
At least parts.
I would recommend anybody watch this. And hopefully after you've heard this podcast, you watch it with a very large grain of salt.
Okay.
But it would be, and when you get to those sort of horrible sci-fi things, just take a couple extra drinks and you'll get through it.
Sure. Now, does this make the short list of movies that you would watch again?
I'm not sure I would put it that high.
Oh my God.
I know. There's a very short list of ones.
I think we got like 1.5. Like,
yeah,
you said you'd watch Spookies. You said if someone put Face Off on and you were in a room, you wouldn't leave the room.
I wouldn't leave the room. Yeah, I don't know. What about the beer? Laser Show double IPA from Left Field.
It's strong for me.
It's strong, but I really enjoyed it. I like double IPAs, and I think that Left Field's done a really good job with this Laser Show. I think it fit well. I wish I had some pretzels and hot mustard to go with it. As it recommends
that would be
on the
tremendous.
Can.
Did you recommend that in the can?
Yeah, right on the can they have a little pairings thing, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I definitely like it. If you're in Toronto or any places where you can get a hold of Left Field Brewery stuff, please do, because it's excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard only good things. Again, this is not my particular type of beer, but here you are enjoying it. Other people told me they enjoyed it a lot, so I think we got to give it points on that.
Beautiful.
So that's Moonraker. And next week, we're going to be taking a look at a strange and very short movie. It's The Dungeon Master.
I have no idea what this is even about.
I've never seen it. It actually has a second title. It's also known as Rage War.
What?
Does that help you at all with what it could be about?
No, I'm excited. I at first I thought maybe it was Dungeons and Dragons Fest, but Rage War sounds pretty.
I don't think so. In fact, I think it is set within a computer game. So,
ooh, all right.
I've never seen it. Virgin territory next week. We'll check it out.
Well, thank you so much for listening today.
Absolutely. If you have not already, please follow us on Twitter or Instagram at the BMB Podcast.
Beautiful. And if you have suggestions for movies or beer, you can send them to us at the BMB podcast at gmail.com. I'm Nolan.
I'm Cooper. And we'll see you next time on Bad Movies and Beer.
Keep it spacey.
But not like Kevin Spacey, right? Oh, no, not Kevin Spacey. It's out of this world.